Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy issue 1, Jodie Houser writing with Adriana Milo on the art. So, kind of an interesting proposition for me, and I don't tend to enjoy Harley Quinn books. It's not that I dislike the character, I think she's a fine addition when she's used right, but the sense of humour just tends not to be the book for me. But I do really like Jodie Houser as a writer, and Milo's art's pretty solid as well, so I was curious. So this is basically Harley looking after Ivy after Heroes in Crisis, when she's still kind of weird from growing back from the new flower or whatever, and she is struggling to keep herself afloat. They go for clothes, they go for food, but ultimately they end up back at Harley's place, and eventually Lexi's drone with the gift shows up, and it's fertilizer, which, as Harley puts it, is basically just he took a dump in a box and sent it.
Yeah.
But isn't Apex Lex shit magical?
Possibly, yes.
Probably. Well, and there's components to fertilizer that's beyond,
There is, yeah.
poop.
Yeah.
Right? But it is a good, solid joke.
A good solid poop.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So this is the first book I feel that's mopping up Heroes in Crisis.
The mess that it left.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just feel like at the end of this, none of that will matter. I feel like we'll have classic
This
Ivy
just
back.
Like, let's get Ivy back to her.
Yeah, I mean, she's basically back by the end of the issue. It's just that, because we introduce a whole plot at the end where the Floronic Man shows up.
Yeah.
And it's like the green...
Well, the Parliament of Flowers.
Parliament of Flowers. Upheaval.
And I definitely feel like this definitely ties in more to the stuff that's going on in Justice League with the, the Year of the Villain stuff and the Floronic Man with Justice League Dark.
And this does not have a Year of the Villain branding.
No.
Even though it is a book about two kind of villains, despite what they may claim in this issue. And, I wasn't expecting it to have a direct reference in the sense that, here's Lex's gift. Yeah. But I think it was actually really well utilized.
Oh, I was worth mentioning, Harley decides to be a hero right before he attacks. So there's like a moment where she's like, I'm going to be a hero. I'm not going to be a villain anymore. I am now a hero.
Yeah, and it's like we're both doing it. We're being heroes, Ivy. Come on.
Yes. So that's the gist of it. Also, I just, for some reason, all this talk about the fertilizer, I just, the song Dick in a Box, I just heard that in my head, but with shit in a box. My shit in a box.
Shit in the box.
So look forward to Christmas, Matt and Connor. Anyway, yeah, we have this set with Floronic Man, which was an interesting. I didn't know that's where it was going. So when he showed up, I was like, oh, okay, all right, this is interesting.
And I think it's nice that they actually have an actual villain to fight.
Yeah, yeah. That said, I will say that despite Jodie Houser's writing and despite the art, I don't think this book's for me. Like, I got to the end of it and I was like, that was fine. It read well enough, but maybe I just don't like, this type of Harley story, this type of sense of humor that, we've got going here. It's just not my thing.
I felt that until Floronic Man showed up and was like, oh, this is Ivy becoming the new champion of the green in the Parliament of Flowers, and I'm here for that.
I get that. I mean, I'm also thinking that there's a lot of books starting in September and October, so I'm happy to opt out.
Yeah.
Personally, I really like this. I love Harley and Ivy together, and them going, screw it, we'll be heroes, is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think it was bad. I think it's just ultimately like, it's not really for me, and I'm always going to have more important books that I want to read instead. So.
Oh sure, but it's only a 6-issue mini.
Yeah.
Depending on how next week looks, I might not review this one next month. If we got a whole bunch of books that drop.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But I did enjoy this one.
I mean, I'm not going to rate off every Harley book, though. I'm still going to try the Cedric one because it's Cedric. I'm going to at least try the first issue. But
how long have we got to wait for that?
The art
I want it
alone.
like next week.
So next month, I think, isn't it?
It's too far away.
But I do love that Hauser automatically gets the dynamic between Harley and Ivy. That it walks aside. So I don't know if you've watched WWE in a while, Pete, but you have the Iconics, right? And they have that, are they best friends? Are they lovers? Who knows? They just really care about each other, And I feel that's Harley and Ivy here, and Hauser rides that line, So, but yeah, and Mello's art, I felt something was a little bit missing, and maybe it's the colors, because from what I saw in Plastic Man, and then what I have been reading in Rose and Thorn, it just pops a little bit better when the colors are more vibrant. Yeah. But maybe that's part of its plan.
Interesting. I thought it's very expressive art. And I thought it really did start to pop at the end when Floronic Man come in. That's what it really pops.
That was definitely the best stuff for me, was the Floronic Man stuff at the end.
Right. When there's more to do, like the art's fine. I'm talking about like the colors and the inks.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if this is as it goes, as Ivy accepts what's going on, or even Harley finds out what it means to be her.
To me, it felt like it was just going for this simpler, sort of flatter look because it was a Harley book. It wanted to feel like a
maybe
not a kiddie book, but like a jokey.
No, I don't think that. I think given that at the end it completely pops open and everything jumps out at you, I think it's, for the most part, it's mundane. Intentionally so, because they're living this mundane life. They're out in the suburbs and in the mall, and Harley's kind of bored. So I think it's, because I think the art's very expressive, but like I say, Matt, it's not popping off the page like it can do.
And then you get Floronic Man, and you're like, oh, okay,
like
he's proper
that
scary.
Sun beaming in behind him through the trees is gorgeous. And that completely pops off. So I think it's a very intentional choice to reflect the mundanity of the daily life, and as opposed to now it's interesting at the end.
Yeah. So, but I'm definitely gonna keep it on my radar. I mean, I read 3 issues of Harley, Ivy, and Betty and Veronica. Right? So
that had someone good writing it as well, though, didn't it? If I recall.
Yeah, that was Paul Dini. And the only reason I stopped getting it is because we moved, and I'm like, I can't just buy. So I'll get it in trade, and I'll finish it eventually. But I was enjoying it for what it was. It's but no, I do like Harley and Ivy. They're good.
Yeah.
Whatever they choose to do with them, relationship wise.
Like Harley and Ivy. I want to go on a limb here and say he's got maybe some unhealthy crushes because he's been watching Riverdale. I know that much. Anyway, we're done with Harley and Ivy. We just have to rate it. So, what are you rating them at?
I'll give this a 7.5.
Connor.
No, I'm the generous one today. I'm giving it 8.5.
I'm going to give it a straight 7, I guess. But not super for me. So, but it's 7 because it's solidly written. Floronic Man was an interesting, entrance at the end.
Yeah.
So,
It's fun. This is what I want them to do more of, these minis. Don't lie to us and tell us it's a number 1.
Still bitter about Shazam, isn't he?
Yes. Clearly. It's clear. I think it's
I had a dream last night that I got to go on an adventure with the Shazam family, and it was wonderful.